So my channel's been getting updated a little bit less than usual, and part of that's because it's been so nice out. See, I work at a car wash, and that's a 10-hour day every single day of the week if it's a nice week. Well, except for like maybe Saturday or Sunday. I'm engaged now. I have friends I gotta hang out with. We go do things. So Yu-Gi-Oh the Yu-Gi-Oh channel anyway, we kind of have to take a back seat to other things in life. I just got my G2. I'm making a lot of like progress lately. And I always hate when channels say that, like they're so busy with life that they can't update their channel enough. But that's not the only reason. Another reason was because, as you guys know, I was on Lent, and I gave up Yu-Gi-Oh for Lent, and then I cheated. And then, in all kind of irony, when I came back from Lent and cheated, I didn't really feel the game as much. And so I was off my game. I went and practiced, and I got good again. And I came to the conclusion that if I want my Heraldic Ruler deck, this is Light Swords for some reason that I'm holding. I came to the conclusion if I wanted to update this Heraldic Ruler deck, it's going to cost me $60. I need 3 Seal of Ashes, and it's kind of hard to do. Now $60 isn't that much money, but I got into board gaming when I took the break. So $60 is about what you can pay for a good quality board game. And when I say board game, I don't mean Monopoly. I'm talking about things that are coming in a big box. A little backstory. Remember the Dragon Ruler format? How you pretty much took a break for a year? You had you didn't have to take a break if you played Spellbooks or Dragon Rulers. Second half, pretty much had to play Dragon Rulers or Evil Swarm, but Evil Swarm you probably weren't going to win. Anyways, I tried to get into another card game. This isn't really a card game. This is Mage Wars. This is a living card game thing that you play on a board. I try to get my locals into it, but there's problems with distribution to my locals, and like it was hard for other people to get copies. There's another hobby store starting. I'm going to try to get this set up get a league going, because I don't have to buy booster packs with this kind of game. I just buy expansions, and in the board game world, there's an old saying, a card game is a card game is a card game, which pretty much means that if I bought, let's say, the Marvel card game, which is like a living card game, I don't really need to buy a Street Fighter card game because it's pretty much going to be the same thing. It's a fun card game. It's still a card game. When I was saying Yu-Gi-Oh! Was a better game than Magic, it was purely because I said Konami was running the tournaments better than the Magic was. Magic had EDH, Modern, Legacy, a bunch of different playstyles. You may say, well, that's great because, maybe if somebody doesn't want to spend a lot of money, they can go to another format. But Yu-Gi-Oh! Not doing a set rotation had the advantage that there's really just 2 main Yu-Gi-Oh! Formats. You got either traditional or advanced. Nobody plays traditional, so you're probably going to be playing advanced. And I just found that was a better system. Regardless, this never caught on. So I wasn't really looking for Yu-Gi-Oh! Replacement. But I was trying, I'm trying to get myself to have a bunch of different kind of games on it. Just wanting a good dungeon crawler this time. I was at the store, I was like, let's just, to my girlfriend, I was like, well, we have a bunch of different kind of game already, let's try to get a dungeon crawler. And I got Descent, 2nd edition. This is about $80. I paid $80 Canadian for it. Let's show the whole thing here. It's a pretty big box. Maybe I'll try to show what's inside of this. This game comes with 2 books. It comes with your standard rule book. And then it comes with the quest guide. This looks like Dungeons & Dragons, but the Overlord is actually an active player in this. Like, the Overlord's not the DM. He's not refereeing any rules. He's just controlling the monsters trying to kill the heroes, whereas you and your friends are playing the heroes. So it's pretty much just an asymmetrical game. Here you have all the quests. It's pretty easy legend on how to set the quests up. A lot of my friends are keeping, we keep our characters and the upgrades into this little sandwich bag. You actually do a campaign, so you'll save your progress. See, the miniatures really well detailed. The map tiles are like puzzle pieces. They'll just like kind of link in together. Now here's the cool part about the campaign. This isn't a character sheet. See, back to this sandwich bag. Your character's equipment and stats are actually just kept on these little cards. So you don't have to like math out anything, it's just instant. Back to this sheet, you can choose to spend your experience or you can save it. The Overlord gets experience too. Actually, that's Heroes Gold. You keep track of your gold. Overlord gets experience too. Now on the back of this sheet right here, this is the first blood. This doesn't really count for anything, but once you go down, you'll mark who wins. So you'll mark if the hero wins or if the Overlord wins, whichever player wins. And then there's something called Act 2 where you pretty much continue on the campaign, and whoever wins decides what quest you go on next for Act 2. That means your first playthrough, you're not going to see everything. There's reason to play through again and maybe have somebody else be the Overlord this next time. This is all you get. You get this whole thing. There's no expansions in this. There's nothing else in this. This is the base game. Everything I've showed you is just the base game. Like, look at this. It's got the like the problem with most board games that never replaced Yu-Gi-Oh! Was because there was no continuation of them. You know, your progress didn't really matter if you won or lost anything. This game keeps your progress. There's a sense of accomplishment in it. And for the Overlord player too, it's not boring just to control these monsters. The game has scaling. The game comes with 8 heroes. You pick 4 heroes. Well, up to 4 heroes. You can pick just 2 heroes. But there's 4 heroes that you and 4 friends can pick. And then it's 5. You can have 5 players altogether. Like, it's just a good sense of community. So back to Mage Wars again. And the thing is about those distribution problems was, you know, I kind of thought, well, you know, card games are card game. So Yu-Gi-Oh! Is better than Mage Wars because of so-so reasons. I just tricking myself. Like, really, a living card game is probably better than a collectible card game unless you are the kind of person that wants to have a completely, you know, I'm going to spend this much money and have this the best deck and nobody else can play this, or I don't have to put up with everybody using the best deck. But generally, most people play on Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro and stuff, and they test out because they don't want to drop a bunch of money and then find out they don't like a deck. And they like having the even playing field to test out their skills. This game has that. I mean, first off, you're playing on this huge board. This folds out more, but I just picture this extra thing filled in. This is how much you get for like 40, like an expansion. An expansion is like $40, and you'll get a big stack of cards like this. There's no searching for the rare card. There's nothing. You just get all the cards you need to be competitive and to play. You don't buy booster packs in Living Card Game. You just get it all. The Mage Wars base set's $80 again. So for an extra $20 from what I was gonna do to upgrade my Yu-Gi-Oh deck for 3 cards, or I can get a huge stack. I got this book. I got 2 of these books in the base set just to keep all of my cards. Look, the Yu-Gi-Oh! Secondary market is the one that determines the price. I understand that. I understand it's the Yu-Gi-Oh! Players that determine how that a card is $100 and not Konami. But that doesn't change the fact that if I want to stay in Yu-Gi-Oh! I have to drop $40 to $60 every few months. Whereas other games like Descent, I drop $80 and it's about a 20-hour to finish a campaign in this game. And I get to keep my progression and like my skills. Or Mage Wars, where I drop $80 for the base set. Big deal, you probably spent that when we got into Yu-Gi-Oh! And I just spent $40 to keep getting expansions. Whereas Yu-Gi-Oh! I have to spend $40 to get 2 or 3 cards. Doesn't make much sense to me to just stick with Yu-Gi-Oh! Right now. Am I quitting Yu-Gi-Oh? No, I'm not quitting Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm not even saying, you know, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a bad game or bullshit. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that I'm going to get into these other games and do some other games first before I get back into Yu-Gi-Oh! We'll see if I get back into Yu-Gi-Oh! I probably will. Everybody gets back into Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm not an idiot. Eventually I'm going to get tired of these games, or they're going to do some bullshit. And I'm going to get sick of them, and I'll jump back to Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm not selling all my cards. I've got a good collection of Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards. But yeah, right now, I'm still going to update the channel. I got other how to play videos. I'm still a good player. Like, I know how to do Harpy Ladies. I know how to do Gadgets, Thunder Family. A bunch of things. But the channel's going to be updated a little less. And I'm going to focus on some other things. If you guys want to see more of either one of these games, maybe I'll give you a more in-depth review and show you more what's in the box. And I'll talk to you guys later.